And now Tamara is here to update your Seder and, of course, keep things fun for the kids. So, Tamara, for those who don't know, tell us a bit about what a Passover Seder is.
So if you've never been to a Passover Seder, it's essentially a really long meal with different blessings and symbolic foods. And it can go on for over an hour before anyone gets anything to eat. So I'm always trying to keep it engaging and fun for the kids so that they don't totally go berserk.
I love that idea. Okay, so how can we sort of rack up the anticipation and the excitement before we get to the food?
Okay, so I don't know about the kids, but I get excited about setting the table and a beautiful centerpiece. And so Passover is really a holiday about overcoming oppression and freedom from oppression. But like that new beginning and like Easter, it happens in the spring. So I'm always excited to set the table with traditional spring blooms. And this beautiful bulb arrangement is from a florist called Hunt and Gather. And what's nice about a bulb arrangement is that it's a little bit more long lasting than a traditional floral arrangement. So I love that. My fail-safe too, if you want to do something really easy and low maintenance, is tulips or hyacinth or forsythia in a vase, call it a day, but always spring blooms on the table.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're not too high so you can see each other.
I wish I had a neighbor like you that just had forsythia hanging out, because I would be coming to your house and just cutting those right off the branches. They're so beautiful.
Some off for you.
Yeah, please do. Okay, so I agree with you. Like, a beautiful table setting really sort of sets the tone. What is next for your tip on how to shake up Seder?
So at Passover, it's traditional to ask questions and really engage in conversation. And I think that what's happening now with everything going on in the world, it's more important than ever to have these conversations about justice and freedom, and especially with our young kids, and get them into that. So I have a couple of ideas. One is using a cute product like this is like a Passover box of questions. And so this has some silly ones like what Passover foods could you eat all year and which ones do you dislike. But there's also some really good resources I'll share with conversation starters about social justice. And it's just a great time to be talking about that, and it's so important for people all over the world, not just Jews, but people who are suffering right now, and having those conversations.
Absolutely. Start them young and make these conversations acceptable at the dinner table, because this is how they learn, right? So I love that idea.
Absolutely.
We're actually going to have those links for our viewers on our website, cityline.tv. And speaking of the kids, you also have a game idea for the kids at this time. What's that?
Okay, well, matzah is central to Passover. It's always at the table. It's traditional to cover it. So why not update your table with a beautiful new matzah cover? And then the other thing we do, which is a game, it feels like a game, but it's central to the Passover Seder. You have to do this, otherwise you can't finish the Seder. We hide a piece of matzah around the house. The kids have to find it. You can't finish the Passover Seder until it comes back to the table. So you could go out and get a cute new afikomen cover. That special piece of matzah is called afikomen. And that will help the matzah stay clean, because it does get eaten by everybody at the table, and then also keeps crumbs from getting all over your house. So these matzah covers, afikomen bags, and the questions are all from Barbara Shaw Gifts.
I'd love to know how competitive that finding of the matzah gets in a family.
Oh, it gets competitive. It's fun. I know it sounds strange if you're not used to this ritual, but kids love it.
Oh, yeah, I would throw down. Okay, you have another idea, like a fun treat for the kids. What's that, T?
Okay, so there are a lot of foods that you can't eat at Passover, and it can be hard to find creative ways to eat treats. I'm glad Amy was on the show sharing her ideas, and I'm sure you've heard from other Cityline chefs in the past. But marzipan is a fun, edible treat, and not unlike fondant, it can be really sculpted into interesting shapes and designs. Sculpted. So what I have are these adorable treats from Marzipops. You can see some of them are like on a little popsicle stick. We even have a DIY kit for the kids where they can use edible paint to paint make their own marzipan treats. And if you're looking at these wondering what's with the frogs, the Passover story tells it that God sent 10 plagues to pressure the Pharaoh to free the Jews from slavery. So we have these 10 plagues, and there's like little marzipan plagues, which again is pretty cute if you are used to celebrating Passover every year.
Okay, you've got one more tip for us when it comes to creating a lovely Passover Seder, and what's that?
Okay, so interestingly, this is my family Seder plate, and it's full of symbolic items. We say a blessing, everybody eats a little bit. What's happened over the years is that different groups of people have added things to the Seder plate to represent the struggles of different marginalized groups. So it's really interesting. As a conversation point for you with your kids, what would you add? You know, and Passover is all about symbolism. So it's, again, a really good conversation starter. In my house, we do a cup of water for Miriam, who was Moses' sister. And that just underscores how, you know, women's roles throughout history have been, you know, overshadowed a lot and underplayed. So a little something we do.
I like that, and I like that there's a bit of room for interpretation, because everything is evolving, right? And everything's a conversation. So
absolutely.
Tamara, thank you so much for that. That was really good insight, incredible ideas. You can find Tamara's top Seder tips online at cityline.tv.